I know.
All right. So next movie I watched, Mandy.
Arnold
That's a
Schwarzenegger one?
no. Nick Cage. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Oh, the zombie one where
That's
he has the
Maggie.
zombie. That's
Maggie
Maggie.
is
Yeah.
the
No,
Arnold
this
Schwarzenegger one.
is Mandy. This
Okay.
is where
Barry Manilow one.
a a cult teams up with demons, maybe, to kidnap some dude's wife, Nicolas Cage's wife.
That tracks.
Uh-huh. And she laughs at them because she thinks they're really ridiculous, and they are. So they light her on fire, and then Nick Cage comes after them with a battle axe.
That sounds like a Nick Cage movie, yes.
And it sounds really cool, but it's unbelievably boring. But and it's like, how's that boring? If they managed, it's just really slow and boring. And
is
it's
there
also,
an end game to lighting this woman on fire? Like, what was their?
So the Charlie Manson, or whatever the name of the cult leader was, fancied her.
Sure.
And she laughed at his little dick. So they stuff her in a bag, drag her onto Nick Cage's front porch, and light her on fire. And he gets mad, and then he goes and visits some guy who's never been in the movie before, but apparently they have a history, and takes his crossbow and gets sage advice, and then builds a battle axe, and then it kills everybody. And it's boring.
Oh.
But they did make lots of use of red gels, because almost every scene in this movie has a red gel over the light, and it gives it, at first it's like, oh, this is a unique look, but it's like the only unique look they have. I'm like, this is kind of one trick pony-ish. So it's not visually interesting. Yes, it's another weird Nick Cage performance, but who cares? Because I don't give a crap about Mandy or him or the cult or the demons. Maybe they're demons, or maybe they're just body modification fetishists who like leather get-ups. I don't know.
That's so sad. I can tell even by the way you're talking about it. You're just like, oh, there's nothing, because that sounds like a good setup for what is the that guy who Death Wish, is that the name of the movie?
Charles Bronson.
There it is.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, this sounds like, a cult kills some guy's wife and he goes ham on them with a battle axe. That sounds great.
Yeah,
that sounds like schlocky fun, but it's boring.
Oh.
It's really dry. It's really slow. It's really boring. I didn't like it. So let's talk about the next movie that I watched.
Yes, moving on.
Death Takes a Holiday. This is a movie from 1937. This is a movie I actually called you about because I had things to say about that. Yeah. So, like the title implies, Death, the Grim Reaper, the actual personification of death, whose job it is to reap souls when people die, is a little off-put by the fact that everyone fears him. I got some gunk on my pants here. So he's like, I don't understand you humans. What's so great about life that you cling to it so desperately every time I come calling? So he says, I'm going to take a 3-day vacation and live as a human, just an average Joe. So I can learn what being mortal is like and why you guys fear me so much. So in order to be an average Joe, to just see what the typical human is like, he stays with an incredibly rich family as a prince or something from some unknown land. A really rich family who lives in a mansion with servants who have like catered spreads every day. It's like, Larry and Susan have put out our morning breakfast spread, and followed by our afternoon lunch spread and our dinner spread. And then we're going to host a ball this evening. And then we will go to the horse track and yell, move your ass, go see Biscuit, like Liza Doolittle. So, okay, Death, I mean, let's see you live as an actual average person, not some of the richest, wealthiest, privileged people ever, you shithead. Anyway, so that's a fine premise, I think. Death hangs up his scythe for a couple of days to live as a person, to figure out what the hell life is all about. Okay, fine, solid premise. Has its moments. Again, solid premise. The guy who plays Death, who I forget who it is, but his very interesting choices in his performance. He definitely comes across as a guy who is making this human thing up as he goes along.
So is he because it's reminding me a bit of Meet Joe Black, even though
I would admit, I've never seen the movie, but as far as I understand, that's like the same premise.
Yes. And of course, a very affluent family is who he visits. But in Meet Joe Black, Brad Pitt is very just kind of like taking things that he doesn't emote so much. Like it's an internal emotion because it's Brad Pitt. He's very good at what he does. So like, does this person playing Death, like, is he very human-like, or is he, I mean, between you and me, is he more animated or is he more Andrew?
He's more me. He's more reserved and says things that are just weird. It's like social faux pas galore, but it's all chalked up to, oh, I'm a prince from a foreign country. I don't know your weird American ways. But a lot of it, to most of the cast who don't know he's Death, only one guy does. They think it's a little weird, but it's kind of charming in a way. Also, he's really rich, so hey, maybe we can marry him. They do this weird thing is, since Death is on vacation, nobody dies. There's this montage in the middle of the movie where the orphanage catches on fire, but nobody died. Big battleship in the run up to World War II or out in the sea completely sinks, but somehow everyone lives. Humongous crash at the F1 Formula NASCAR race thingy, but everyone survives. No one dies. Formula One and NASCAR are different. Yeah, race car thing, or actually no, I think it's actually a horse track. A horse falls over and the jockeys go flying, but everyone lives. Right. I remember you and I discussing this specific part about it. But this specific montage is only a way to pass the time. It has no bearing on the plot. That's a really interesting idea. What are the consequences of literally nobody dying? I mean, just because the orphanage burnt down doesn't mean no one got burnt. Right. I mean, so right. Do we have like 65 children with third-degree burns writhing in agony because they can't die because Death isn't around to reap their souls? Right. They had to live through that. And now they're taking up hospital beds. But none of this is ever addressed. Yeah. It's just a way to pass the time in the movie. It's just a time-passing montage, and that's disappointing. See, I think that is fascinating. Like, that movie doesn't care though. Of course, the thing with the movie is Death. Hi, everybody. I'm Prince Ali from Alibaba, whatever. And it's like, Enchante. Oh my God, the most pretty girl I've ever seen. I love her immediately. Yeah. So really, Meet Joe Black is a remake of it. Okay. And the funny thing about this is the girl that he falls in love with at first sight is not in most of the movie. She's actually leaving that night or something. She's like out of the movie for most of it. And he's dealing with other people and then pining over her. When she coming back? She comes back at the end of the movie to the point where she's like, oh, I always saw you for who you are. And screw my family, I'm going with you. No, you can't, because you could never return. It's like, oh, but it's like, I mean, you took a holiday, surely she could at some point too. But I'm going with
Hades
you.
and Persephone can do it.
Yeah, none of this works because you guys have spent literally 3 minutes together. I'm not buying this. But there are two women in this movie who I think are really funny. There's this they're the women who compete with each other over Death's affections, but they seem more interested in one-upping each other than they really are about him. These are the kind of women who are very close, but no, they're just friends. I mean, oh, Hannah, I'm very scared. Why don't you come to my room tonight and sleep in my bed with me? Okay, they're just friends though. You know, just friends who sleep in the same bed together. Okay, I gotta get dressed, but where's my blouse? I don't know. She's sitting on it. But they're just friends. There were a lot of gay women back in 1937 who were watching this movie going, so those two I actually thought were really funny. Not because of the, oh sure, they're just good friends, but right, because the characters are actually genuinely charming and kind of funny. So the movie, it's a good, I like the premise. It has its moments, but it's just not a good movie. Oh well. So your turn.
So I watched The Prom. Nothing, no reaction.
The Prom.
It's a musical, and it has Meryl Streep in it, and it has James Corden, who got a lot of flack for playing a homosexual character the way that he did, which I will go into. It has
I remember that story, but man, yeah, the movie is not. Keep talking. I'm gonna IMDb.
So anyways, it's fantastic. So it was a Broadway show up for Best Musical, and it did not win. I forget who won over The Prom. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, Hadestown, right? Well, Hadestown won, but I don't know if it was over The Prom. I don't know if it was the same year. Anyhow, the point is, and
oh Jesus, everyone's in this.
Everyone is in it. Nicole Kidman is in it.
Is that Keegan-Michael Key on the poster?
Keegan-Michael Key is fantastic in it. Okay, so let's discuss it. Okay, so
Kerry Washington.
Yes. So if you do not know the premise, so there's a girl named Emma. So a lot about Emma going on in my my movies today. So a girl named Emma is in middle of the country, Ohio, Wisconsin, Montana. I forget what, Illinois. I don't know. She's somewhere in middle of the country. And Iowa. Someone doesn't know geography. Anyways, she's a lesbian and she wants to go to prom with her girlfriend. So the premise of the movie is that's all this girl wants. And it creates this huge upheaval.
My God, that's asking so much.
It is, because we are good Christian moral values here. And, you know, once you start letting them gays in, then meow, 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 right? Okay. So
then my sugar puffs will lose all of its taste.
Yeah, the moment that people are allowed to start loving who they want to love, that makes
I can no longer enjoy my crossword puzzles or breakfast cereals.
Yeah.
All the joy is sucked out of my life when other people who I don't know are happy.
Exactly. I'm taking their joy. They are going to deplete the amount that I can have if it has to be shared. There's only so much joy in the world.
That's what bigots are. They're joy vampires. They just suck the joy out of everybody else.
There you go. There's a finite amount of joy, and the more people that can have it, the less.
Oh, you're happy? Well, I gotta have me some of that.
So Nicole Kidman, Andrew Rannells, and Miss Meryl Streep and James Corden.
Wait, he's not the prom date, is he?
No. So those four that I just said.
Oh wait, the two people who want to go to prom are women?
Yes.
Oh, he's just another
High
character.
school,
Okay.
yeah,
I was
high
gonna say
school
James Corden
women
is not a high school kid.
in like
Not
Omaha,
buying it.
Nebraska, although it's not Omaha, Nebraska. I forget exactly where they are, but it's that kind of like, place. Sorry to anyone who's a fan of my brothers in Omaha or any of these I'm in St. Louis, so I'm no better. I'm middle country too. Yes, so these 4 Broadway stars are kind of like the burning embers of Broadway stars. They're has-beens type of thing. They're trying, and they're like, we need to do something that brings us back into the public eye and into the good graces of, the public, because we've been in some bad shows and, we're getting up there in age and people don't love us anymore. So they want to do this for publicity, and they find that this girl can't, through Twitters and whatever. They're like, well, let's go to this, middle of the country, town, Indiana town. I'm just going to say all the states in my thing. One of them will be right. And go help her and make everything be known that there's no problem being gay. Being gay is fine. Being homosexual is fine, and everyone deserves love. And so it's a musical about everyone deserving love. And there are some moments that and I hate that it does make me cry, get a little weepy there, because I'm like, oh, that's so sweet. It's so, and I hate crying. But there are some.
Love is good. Love is good.
I know. I'm just like, oh, they get it. It's so nice. But anyways, so I'll talk about the controversy. So James Corden plays a gay man.
James Corden is not gay?
No, he is not.
Okay.
Married with children. Not that means that you're not gay, but he is not gay.
Okay.
Did I just hear a phone ringing?
I did not.
Okay. I thought he
James
did brilliantly.
Corden's lawyer's calling you.
They're like, stop talking about it. I thought he did brilliantly. I was not offended by his portrayal at all. I don't believe that there was anything that he did that seemed even like, oh, that's just so camp, or that's just, of course, that's what straight people think gay people do. No, to be fair, that's Andrew Rannell's character, who is a little bit more flamboyant, also played by a gorgeously flamboyant Broadway star, Andrew Rannell. So James didn't have to do but of course it comes on the whole heels of, if you have a gay character in a movie, why can't you just have a gay person play it? And I'm like, but then that means that gay people can only play gay people, and I don't believe in that either. I think that you should be able to have Neil Patrick Harris play the stud muffin that he is in How I Met Your Mother and not have a problem with it. If you believe that only a gay person can play a gay character, then you also have to believe that gay people can't play straight characters or shouldn't, or whatever your vernacular is. And I disagree with that. I think everyone should have an opportunity, but what's her Samira Wiley of Handmaid's Tale fame? She might also have been in Walking Dead. Gorgeous woman, lesbian. She actually just recently was interviewed by some publication about, she's like, I want to play some straight characters. Please stop just because I'm gay, please stop casting me as the token lesbian in your films. I want to play a meatier character. I can play a meaty character. And she's a fantastic, she truly is a fantastic actress. And I love seeing her. And it always is kind of every time I see her on screen, it's never her main storyline being a lesbian, but she always does play one. You just kind of in the background, she has a girlfriend or something, and you're like, I think anyways, I think James did great. Freaking Keegan-Michael Key nailed it, and he and Miss Meryl Streep have a little romance in the movie, and I shipped them so hard. I'm like, oh my God, they're awesome, even though she's happily married but they were just awesome. So I never heard the recording of the prom. I was not privy to the music. My friend Pammy D in love with the prom because it was very close to her heart. It meant a lot to her. And she was talking about there's so she knew the Broadway recording, and there's a song that Keegan-Michael Key's character sings that is kind of the throwaway song. You know, every show has that one song that someone sings and you're like, whatever. Like Colleen singing to his coat in La Boheme. And Keegan-Michael Key does it gorgeously. And so she saw the movie, and I saw the movie. And I was like, that's not a throwaway song. That song was amazing. She's like, I've never liked that song until he sang it. He was that, like, she's never liked it until Keegan sang it. And and Meryl Streep, I think, just keeps getting better. I don't know how that's possible. And she's just fantastic. I love this woman. Anyways, it was really good. The only problem with it that I saw, and this is so sad, the girl who played Emma, the lead.
Another Emma.
Yeah, right. So she's good. She can she sing? Absolutely. She also looks the part, and I mean that non-offensively. She looks the part as in, like, she looks like a high school student. She just wears her clothes. She's not trying to be fashionable. She's just trying to be herself. Like, she embodies the character very well, except for the fact that her entire performance is with a smile. She's like, she's one of those singers that
she has resting smile face
like this because I smile while I sing, and I'm like, you're thinking about something very sad right now, and
my cat died.
Yeah, I mean, she's a smile singer, and
ran over with a lawnmower.
And that's the thing, like, you and I know, like, when we were in we've been in choir forever, and we've done so many shows. I'm talking to the audience now, who know that you're a performer, but I was too for a spell. And so we did a lot of singing, and that's what you do in show choir, and that's what you do. And so when you're in choir, you sing because you're putting on a show for everyone. And I think that they pulled her from, like, a choir or that kind of performance, because she's a smile singer. And she did great in the role, but there was something just missing. I'm like, you're a little too waxy, you're a little too happy. Like, this girl can't be herself. And because, you know, and I'm like, you're just, but it was still good, and I really enjoyed it. And James Corden did great, and everyone, I think it was brilliantly cast. I have no problems with it. And yeah. There you go.
I'm glad the role wasn't played in any offensive or stereotypical way. My thought on it is what you're describing as actors should be able to play anyone is true, but the way I look at it is it's true only in a perfect world in which we're not currently in. Yes. So what I think ends up happening is, like, the actor who you named, who's like, I'm always playing queer characters, I can play straight characters, is at this moment in time when we're in an imperfect world where our queer actors, if they get cast, they always get cast as queer people.
That's true. Then why are we
then a straight person cast in a queer role is eliminating potential work for queer actors. I think that's, I don't think I haven't read the controversy, but I don't think the actual issue was with Corden's performance. I think I do think you are right, though, that queer actors should not be relegated only to queer roles.
Right.
But until they're not, we should, we need to be careful about that. So
that makes more sense, and I can get behind that. You're right. Like, you are correct in that sense, because I don't want to take roles away from people, but I also don't want to. I don't want to limit them anyone
in that way. Right. Exactly.
So,
all right. So next movie from me, Fantastic Planet. This is a animated film from 1973. French and Czechoslovakian. You
went on a little
I went on a world tour month.
You did.
Last
you were
month.
Like, where else can I go?
Well, you see, Criterion Collection, I think in July they had like a animated movies collection that they introduced, and I love animation, which is why I watched Belladonna of Sadness and Alice, that stop motion one I talked about, and this Fantastic Planet, just because they had a bunch of different animation things. So this one is on a different planet. Humans are like maybe 6 inches tall, and there are humanoid blue aliens who are like our size, but humans on that planet are 6 inches tall, so they keep them as pets. So humans are essentially pets to big giant humanoid blue aliens on this world. And so the movie is about humans trying to survive in this world, and it follows one who's a pet and escapes and then joins the resistance and blah 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 blah. Fine premise. I love it's got this really unique, almost colored pencil art style going on. And the setting is really imaginative. It is truly alien. Now, the main aliens are just big blue humanoid things, but their actions are really truly alien. You watch it and you're like, I don't even understand what they're doing. They like sit and meditate, and little thought bubbles start going out that have them in it. And it's like, what? And it doesn't feel like unexplained. It feels just alien. Like we just have no concept of
What
that. Seems to be like their TV time or something like that. I don't know what they're doing. But more than that is the flora and fauna of the world. That's where the imagination of the design and artistry really takes off, because all the plants and weird animals that you see, that's, with a couple exceptions, which is just like, okay, that's just a beaver with wings, but most of them are these really weird, truly alien organisms. It's just really fascinating to watch. Unfortunately, it's a boring story with boring characters, so it's a really boring movie.
Aww.
But it is visually interesting. So if you enjoy just art and really creative depictions of alien worlds and creatures and stuff, I felt it was worth a watch. But oh my God, the characters are almost non-existent. The storytelling is awful. Everything from that, everything other than the actual design is bad. And the animation isn't good, but it's at least a consistent style. It's bad, but it's consistent. And it's very imaginative, and I appreciated it from that regard. Unfortunately, the movie is just boring as hell. And it was one of those where I got to the last 10 minutes of the movie and I just kind of zoned out, and then the credits were rolling. I was like,
oh shoot, what? I don't know what just happened.
Scrub back 10 minutes. I'm like, okay, there was something about statues dancing or something. What? Oh, that still doesn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense. All right. Yeah, not a good movie, but I appreciated the imaginative visuals, at least. Okay. So the next one is called Blood Red Sky. This is a German flick. There's also a bunch of English in it, so it swaps back and forth. Germany and United States collab project. Okay. Die Hard on a plane. Okay. So John McClane takes his young son on a plane to go to America from Germany, but terrorists hijack the plane in flight. Yeah. And so now John McClane must wander around it's one of those big, in the storage bin where all the, the cars and the dogs and the stuff are kept, and in the backstage areas, and fight the terrorists and save his son. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Here's the twist. John McClane is a vampire. Okay, so this movie is about a woman and her son on a plane who are going to America. It's hijacked by terrorists, and she fights to save, her son, but by extension everyone else, with her vampiric superpowers.
Okay, so continue. I'll ask maybe you're gonna say it. Go.
I love this premise. This is such a fun premise.
Okay.
Unfortunately, the movie didn't do it for me. There's nothing really wrong with it. I felt it focused on the wrong thing at a lot of times, but I just didn't connect with the story and the characters. So
do vampire like in this world is vampirism like something that people know about? Is it just like I mean, do they have? Is there
people are familiar with? Oh my God, that's a vampire, but I didn't know they actually existed. So this woman is
on a flight doing just regular.
She's going to America to try and work with a doctor to cure her vampirism because she has this experimental drug which keeps her vampiric tendencies at bay. Because if she doesn't take this stuff and she succumbs to the bloodlust, she goes like full Nosferatu. I mean, bald, pointy ears, inset eyes, big spiky teeth.
So it's almost like a disease that she's.
Yeah. So there seemed to be like, I mean, it kind of feels like they were going with maybe a cancer or terminal disease parallel, but didn't think it through because, most cancer patients don't murder you if they don't get their chemo, But there is this really interesting conflict. She needs to let the vampire flag fly, and so she can use her flowers, but the more she does, the more control she loses and the more danger she is to her son and everyone else. That's an interesting conundrum. And also, if she loses her cool and bites someone, they turn into a vampire, and then we've got a plane full of bloodthirsty vampires.
So her son is not a vampire.
Correct. Now, the big problem with this, what I meant by it focuses on the wrong thing is this is another one of those movies where I was like, okay, we're in the climax now. I'm going to pause it and go to the bathroom. It's probably only 10 or 15 minutes. Oh my God, there's over an hour left. And they could have easily cut like 20 to 30 minutes out of this movie because there are a bunch of flashbacks to... Imagine if, Die Hard on a plane with a vampire. Now someone's like, oh, this movie did really, really well, so we need to make a sequel. No, let's make a prequel where we find out how she became a vampire. Two, unless I split this one up even further, of our July monthly movie mini reviews. We'll be back subsequently with our remaining July movies. So please look forward to that. Until then, I'm Andrew. This is my sister Kelly. Happy movie watching, everyone. Bye. With anything, it's not relevant to the plot or the theme. There's nothing that she remembers that serves her, because I remember this thing from my past, this helps me do this thing in the future. No, I guess they just felt that it's like, I figured she was bit by a vampire at some point. I didn't need 20 to 30 minutes of backstory about how she lost her husband and then killed the original. In it.
She's a vampire. We've already accepted.
She's a vampire. I got it.
Wow.
So not that it's not worth watching, although I really didn't like the ending. Because it's just everybody dies. Everyone, because she turns a bad guy into a vampire, turns other people. So the whole damn plane gets turned into vampires, and then they blow up the plane. So
that's a cop out. But okay.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the kid lives.
Okay. Well.
And the one nice guy who befriended him. So two people survive, but everyone dies. And it's like, well, that's not fun. And it either doesn't say anything, or it says some really not good things, depending on what your metaphor is actually supposed to be here, movie. If cancer patients don't get their chemo, they'll kill everybody, so we have to blow them up. I don't think that's what they were going for in terms of messaging, but
yeah, not quite. Yeah.
Okay. How many more do I have? God damn it.
Good gravy, dude.
So I've got three more. So
Okay.
let's do one more from you.
Okay.
And then we'll stop and we'll record the other three later because I have to
Yes, you have
do my Sunday stream.
Okay. So I have I think three more as well that I could talk about.
Sweet.
So this one let's close it on a downer, shall we?
Oh, let's.
Army of Darkness. It's the
Wait, the Evil Dead one?
No, is it not called Army of Darkness? Crap. It's the one with Batista and
Army of the Dead.
Is that really what it's called?
Dave Batista, the Zack Snyder
I
film
have
where
it on here, correct. On here it says Army of the Dead.
Okay.
I was trying to make it something better than it really
Okay,
is.
yeah, I saw this. Yeah.
Sorry. Oh, you saw it?
Yep, go ahead.
Oh, okay. So I didn't like it.
Neither did I, because it's bad.
Good. It's just bad.
It's bad.
It's just bad. There's so many loopholes. There's so many like things, and then you're like, why?
There's good stuff, but a lot of it is not explained or followed up on.
No, nothing. And his daughter is annoying, and you're just like, get out of my movie. It's terrible, but I will say
I like the premise, a bank heist in a zombie apocalypse. Cool.
I like the idea of like go in there because it's Las Vegas. So Las Vegas has been overtaken with zombies, and it has been walled up, and there's like refugee type camps right outside, and then the world. Like, so depending on where you live, it might not affect you. Like, over here in Missouri, I probably would not have had given two craps. You in San Diego, there's a chance that you might not give two craps or be like, just in the periphery of like something happening, but like it's pretty well contained. So it's very exciting that you think, okay, just keep the zombies in there and we'll be fine. But, and of course there's these ground units around that they make sure that they've gotten all the survivors out, but like also army, like, to make sure that no one's going to come through. Well, yeah, there's a ton of money inside there. So let's go send some people who aren't, so scared to go back in and let's go get some money and blah, 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 blah. And it will be fine. So like the idea is great, but there's just so many continuity errors in timing, and there's distance, like apparently the vampires can fall in love and procreate, but they also don't really. Maybe. But can they? Who knows? Like, are they turning back humanish because they have feelings?
I wasn't sure if our alpha zombies are getting it on, or if they're raping their captives, the live people. It's not clear.
Like, and why are they keeping the women? And it's so weird, but like,
so yeah, why?
Batista and his group of people go in, and his daughter, who is a piece of just like kick. Like, he should just headbutt it, knocked her out, gone in real quick. But like, she's annoying. I didn't like her, and like, you don't grow to like her either. It's not like no, she's just very annoying. And anyways, the best part about the movie is Tig Notaro, who I don't.
Is that the helicopter pilot who was clearly like composited into the movie? I swear to God, the first time I watched this, I was like, did they forget to cast the helicopter pilot? And we're like, oh shit, we forgot the helicopter pilot. And then because it's like, this character's not there. She's completely screened in or composited in.
But her role is, she does great, and she's hilarious.
Oh, I enjoyed the character. I thought she was fun.
She's the best part of the movie. Like at the beginning.
But no, what happened apparently is they replaced an actor because the original actor was an abusive prick. So they're like, all right, screw this guy. We're replacing your role with someone who isn't a piece of crap.
Oh, I'll have to look into that. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole movie looked weird to me anyway. So her random like composite didn't throw me, because I was like, this whole movie looks
that
not all
for not intending to composite that character into the movie. They did a pretty damn good job.
They did.
I mean, it wasn't invisible,
on her
but
own
for most of the movie, yeah, she's taking care of the helicopter for most of the time.
She's on her own. She just has some amazing.
I don't know who that actor is, but yeah, Damn.
She's not an actor. She is a comic. She's a stand-up comic.
She's a stand-up comedian?
Yes.
Cool. Well,
she's-
shit, give her an action movie franchise.
I know. I loved her. I thought the same thing. I don't think I've seen her in anything other than like I'll see YouTube clips.
And she's a cigar chewing badass who it's like, yeah, I'll go in behind enemy lines to save your children, but it's gonna cost you. You know?
She's great.
I'm gonna need a team. Yeah, it's like, all right, I would watch that movie.
I would watch her. Like she's fixing the helicopter and like she's on comm with Dave or whoever's downstairs, and they're having an inconvenient moment, and she's up there with the helicopter having an inconvenient moment, and they're both like, oh yeah, no, things are fine, and she's like, oh great, I'm just waiting on you, I'm just sitting here working on my tan, and like they go off comm and they're both like, oh god, this is terrible, because they think the other one is fine.
You know, there's
but she's great.
There's a lot of good stuff in the movie, but most of it is like either not done right or not followed up on. Like, I love the zombie tiger. I mean, that's fun.
Sure.
I like the idea of alphas and the zombies creating a society and having like rules. Like, we can go in as long as we give them an offering, and otherwise just leave them the hell alone.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. Okay. I really like the scene where the zombies are kind of hibernating and they have to just sneak past them. That's a cool idea. That's a tense little scene. They also have but then they have other things like like there's this throwaway line where they say something, where they see all these stacked bodies of zombies, and they're like, yeah, but they come alive in the rain. It's like, ooh. Yeah, that never. So I thought it was definitely going to start raining at some point.
Yeah.
No, that never comes up again.
They also make Vegas so small. Like,
it's like, oh no,
you know, 2 or 3 casino hotels that are all across the street from each other, and like, we've been to Vegas.
I've got to fly
many times.
Yeah, I've got to fly my helicopter to the other hotel, and then search the hotel for my daughter, and then get back to the helicopter, and then get out of Vegas before the bombs drop. Great. When did the bombs drop? 9 minutes. You're not going to do it.
Yeah, no.
There is not enough time. You are not going to make it. There is not enough time to do that. It's gonna take you 5 to 7 minutes just to fly over there, and then you've got 2 minutes to literally run down the hotel, find where your daughter is, where you don't know where in the entire hotel she is, get back up to the roofing. No, you don't have time. It's impossible.
The timing and the it just didn't work in. So, and I was very upset because I was
also
really
most of the movie is out of focus, which was a choice.
Yeah.
But it was the wrong choice.
Yes. So, anyway, not which is upsetting me because I really.
Oh, and the guy with the big rotary saw, he never uses it for anything. I mean, they use it to cut through a wall when they get locked in the thing with the gate, and they're like, they use the rotary saw to, instead of cutting through the thin bars of the gate, they cut like a gigantic hole through a concrete wall. I'm like, okay, but I thought you were going to use that thing for zombie mayhem, but no.
And then you have the guy who is there under, just like every single movie, he's there under different directives. So like he knows.
Guy.
Yeah, the bad guy.
The guy who gets at by the tiger, right?
Yeah, so he knows the plan B, and that's some guy whose name is going to escape me right now. But like the thing that upsets me about it is like he starts he's a prick to people, and he's also he causes the death of that one girl who we like because he like leads her astray with the glow sticks when they're making their way to the sleeping zombies and stuff. And so he does, and I'm like, there is no reason.
And then her death is completely stupid because she badasses her way out of the whole thing.
Way out of it.
And then she gets out, and then she just stands there while zombies grabs her. And the other guy who we've already seen is a crack shot. I'm like, just shoot the zombies.
Yeah.
There's only 2 of them. Just shoot them.
And then they do that with bad guys. Yeah, she's like, because she kicked ass, and I'm like, yeah, she lived. She can throw that MFer under the bus and like let everyone know that like, that's the thing. Like, if I was going in and I was a double agent and I was like being covert because I had that secondary directive, whatever the hell that secondary directive in this movie was.
Hide that a little bit better, I suppose.
But like, don't go in being a prick.
Yeah, because everyone suspects him immediately.
You need those people to help you get that which you came for, which was like a head or something.
Yeah.
But like,
or
right?
just be honest. It's like, I also have a side mission. You guys do your thing, but I have to go get a alpha zombie head.
Yeah, maybe we can all help each other, because like, what did you think? Like, you killing a bad guy is not going to help your mission.
Yeah.
Either mission.
I mean,
I hate
like,
that.
I don't think the mercenaries would be like, okay, well, that's pretty evil, but we're all risking our lives for millions of dollars. So, you know, whatever, man, you do you.
Yeah, go grab a head. Cool. That means you've killed a zombie. Do it, dude. Like, I just don't like, but that's such a trope that I've never gotten behind in movies, that they make the bad guy truly a prick, that you're like, oh, where's Waldo?
Well, he's it's right there. Yeah, I mean, even the characters in the movie are like, well, he's definitely the bad guy.
Exactly.
Okay, so that is part 2, unless I split this one up even further, of our July monthly movie mini reviews. We'll be back subsequently with our remaining July movies. So please look forward to that. Until then, I'm Andrew. This is my sister Kelly. Happy movie watching, everyone. Bye.